Hey everybody, I'm Danny. This is a little bit different video on Brian's channel today. I kind of do some of the behind the scenes stuff with Brian's guitar channel, and we actually own a music school together. And so we're going to do a live lesson and show you our virtual guitar lesson program. Maybe you're at a point where you want to move on from doing YouTube lessons and guitar courses and maybe get some live help. So this is a real lesson. I am actually not a guitar player. I am a professional drummer, but I have been conned into singing and playing some songs in front of like 800 people, which I've never done before in my life, at an upcoming show. So I had to pick some simple songs, some, 4-chord sing-alongs. And Brian is, we're going to do a real lesson here, and Brian's going to kind of help me get through these songs and maybe give me some tips. But it should give you a really good idea of this platform that we use and why this is so cool and such a great way to do private lessons. And then also just real quickly, this is a $15 pair of headphones, and this is a $49 microphone. That's about it. I've got a bright light on, and this is a $100 acoustic guitar off of Amazon. So the tech side of this is so super easy. I can help anybody have it nailed within minutes. So take it away, Brian. Help me out.
And on my end, just again on the tech side of stuff here, I work with a broadcast microphone like this that goes right into a digital mixer. My guitar, even though it's acoustic, going to the digital mixer this way, so when Danny's hearing my voice, I could be talking while I'm looking down on my chords, moving around. He can also hear my guitar nice and clear, so there's no compression thing going on with Zoom or something like that. We're running through a platform also called Musi.live as well that makes it great for lessons, as you can kind of see the two windows here. But let's jump into a few things. So I know you got a couple songs going on for the show coming up, and I think we had talked the other day about one of the songs having a bar chord in it, the car song you're doing. So I think it'd be a great thing to try to work on. I think for a lot of students, that's always going to be the challenge, is how to get to those bar chords, especially when you got a gig coming up of singing and playing like that and to jump to a bar chord. So let's see if we can help you out a little bit of that and make it easy on that. So let's play a little bit, play me a little bit of that progression, how you normally play it right now, and then I'm going to do a little bit of breakdown on how we can make that bar chord stand out better.
Yeah. So it's the car as you might think. It's pretty much open chords except for that B minor there. So it's like, you might think I'm crazy, what you put me through. You think you're in the movies. I don't know the words, but and so I'm playing the cheater B minor here. Think that you're wild and so uniquely styled. You might think I'm furious, what you put me, and then it goes back to that B minor there.
Yep, exactly.
You might, it's hard to go. So
it's
I'd be
a fast
going,
switch.
Let's see. You might think I'm crazy, what you put me through.
Yeah, it comes up
you
every.
You might think I'm crazy. All I want is you.
Yeah, nicely done so far. So a couple things here. Before we hit the B minor, actually, I want to talk about one little thing just in assessing the strumming of that. One thing with that D chord that happens a lot in there too is really make sure on your strumming pattern with the D chord, if we happen to hit some of the A string in there, it kind of gets a little muddy. So, with the D chord, I typically try to spend my picking time on the higher top strings on there. And I know in the midst of singing it, we just kind of want to keep strumming with that. But the nice clarity of the D chord with the top 4 strings only. Yeah, there we go as you strum that one. Yeah. And it's great that you have the thumb over the low E covering that one. It's just that once in a while I heard the A kind of in there when you're strumming that, and it makes it a little bit, like I said, muddy at times with it. So when that D comes in, aim high for those more thinner strings as that does that as you're doing the strumming pattern. But
one other thing I noticed that I'm when I have to go from that D to the G,
yes,
I put that pinky down.
Oh, already on the D?
Yeah, I'll kind of do it halfway in between.
Okay.
Chord change like that. And I mean, it sounds like it's when I do it in the song, I mean, it seems like it works okay.
Yeah.
But I know that I know that I'm really just sort of cheating the chord to get there faster.
Right. And at times that's okay to kind of, right. In that song, it kind of fits to the melody a little bit. It sounds kind of
Right.
cool doing it in there. But definitely one of the things, and the advantages, I'm going to do my zoom in cam, by the way. One of the things that we do with the online lessons is they've got these zoom in cameras that can go right in on your hands like this for the student to see. Again, the advantage of going from that the D to G is you do have that ring finger and really making that thing planted and not leaving as you're doing your rotation like that.
I got you. You know what? I remember seeing that in one of your videos. and here's the thing, because I don't know, somewhere along the line, I always play the G with the pinky down.
The pinky down, right. And
so
that's,
what is it?
and then still, now the pinky still goes down there. It still does go down. But I'm just saying I'm using that ring finger for the leverage of that switch to stay really anchored. Yeah. And even going back, I notice when you go to the G, it seems like you have it kind of anchored down when you go to the G, but when you go back to D, you lift it up. So a great little like sidebar practice, is literally doing what you're doing that. Yeah, and remove that pinky for the D like we're talking about. Yeah, so that one stays down for the G.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great practice for you. I could tell right there. And then just pivot. Right, without losing that ring finger. So
yeah, I'm lifting all the fingers where I actually don't need to lift all the fingers.
Exactly, and that's a thing that I look for on any chords that I have as what I call the common finger or what I call the pivot finger. So sometimes if I'm doing a C to an E minor, I'm pivoting off of that middle finger like that, and that way I'm always looking for opportunities to what can I keep down when I'm making that switch like that. So.
Something I was going to point out on the virtual lesson like this that I was just thinking about, because that is a common question that people will ask is like, can you see the student well enough?
Yeah.
And, clearly you can, and it's one of those things that as a novice or somebody who doesn't, isn't an expert guitar player, you might think, oh, I really need to be super close to the student's hand to see what's going on. But if you're a professional who's been doing it forever, like you could tell what's going on with my left hand by barely seeing any of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're actually a really good point. Yeah, just I'm able to see that. And I was able to hear the A string in the D chord, even through your strumming on there too, really well to kind of be able to catch that. So absolutely.
Yeah, because I think that's something people get hung up on. Like, don't you need to be like right next to me and be able to see everything? And it's like, it's the same way for me. If I'm a drummer, I could be in the audience and see if it's like, nah, the guy's doing the fingers wrong with his stick grip. Like from 20 feet away. Like if you're a professional, you really don't have to be like 3 feet away to see how I'm fingering these chords.
Yep, you just know it. Absolutely. But I think that's going to be a cool little fix on the D and the G switch. But I think again as a side little practice, when I talk about what I call 60-second drills. Anytime there's a challenging thing happen for me for a song, I'll take 60 seconds before I play that song and do an over and over repetitive drill, and that would be a great 60-second drill. Is going D to G, pivoting off that ring and not losing that ring finger as you pivot back and forth. And 60 seconds is a very small amount of time, but you will feel the difference if you do that every time before you play it as a little warm-up, and that will be a lot smoother change on that. Bringing us to another smooth change we got to work on is that A to B minor. So let me see how you're doing it now. Just that part that does. I think you did the D. Yeah. Yeah. So the cheater one, actually, I feel like, that takes a lot of effort too, just having to bit your balancing fingers on those top three like that. The good thing about the A chord that's happening previous to it is you already have the bar situated kind of in that area already. So I would try to complete the full bar. Right. And then just... Okay, so now that's what I kind of see there. What I notice from your building, I tend to want to build my chords from the bar chords from these two fingers instead of this one. When you did that, I saw you go bar, and then you put this one down, and then the two. try to rebuild a little bit of the conditioning to where get these 2 down, then the middle finger last. That's it. That's the idea of that, just building that chord right there. More from these fingers. So again, side drill without even doing... yeah. So that's going to take a little bit of repetition on your end to do it. But if you do it without the chord changes before it, just do the bar and see if you can put these 2 down, then that. Give that a try first. We're not even doing the G yet. Just do the... Right. Now, what do you think would be my reason to want to build my chord from the lower notes down here?
I don't know.
So my reasoning is when you do strum, if you're not built all the way yet,
yeah,
the other one, at least you can get yourself going, and you could catch that one on the way down. You know what I'm saying?
It gives you a little extra time.
Yeah,
okay.
So kind of a cool, rule of thumb is when you're building chords to try to build from your bassier notes, because you're going to strum mainly from your low notes, that you have time to maybe roll into it. So that's a great little hack to make sure when you're building your bar chords, bar, and my middle finger, if I went like this, my middle finger was the last one to go down like that. And I feel like that is kind of a habit that you have to build into it, because right now I could tell your senses to go this, middle, and these two. It's a reconditioning a little bit to be building like a rolling fashion, actually. And the great news on that, that's going to help for all the bar chords if you approach it that way. So you fix that one, that will fix a lot of other things too. And one thing too, as we were kind of trying to remember what the progression was, just when we do these online lessons, I'm also able to share the screen of the sheet music along with you that you see on your side. And as we were talking, hey, where does that B minor show up on here? We could be able to... I'm scrolling down right now, and you have the ability to scroll on your end too, by the way. I'm scrolling on mine, bringing it down to the pre-chorus where it's that, but I think that's your wild is where that D, B minor, then it's G, B minor, A, so we could see exactly in the progression where that falls. So with a lot of students, it's great to have the sheet music right up there on the share screen, still see each other, hear each other, but be able to maneuver that screen around and watch as well. So,
question.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the chords up at the top there on that screen, now why is the G... in their version, is the G played as a bar chord?
Yeah, the thing is with a lot of sheet music, and I got this from just a free site, basically, and a lot of times, there is a preset font that basically when they type a G in, it shows up on the top as what option that player wants to use. So it's really open to interpretation, I think, on which G you want to do. That particular sheet music showed the bar chord G. And so I'm just saying you don't have to, but I feel like this was initially an electric song. If you were playing on an electric, it would probably be the right way to be using the G bar chord. But because we're doing an acoustic,
I'm kind of countrifying it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So again, sheet music like this, when they're typing it all in, they put G chord. This thing auto-populates options of a G. So sometimes they just pick a bar chord, and it doesn't mean that you have to with that. But
luckily for me, there'll be a couple other guitar players, actual guitar players strumming with me. So I might, if I don't get it down, I might just have to skip the B minor chord.
Exactly. Well, again, it's definitely something. Like I said, it's a rebuilding a muscle memory to get
I like
that new shape down.
Right away, those couple of tips are I really noticed it on the, that move.
Yeah. The pivot. I could tell that your fingers want to leave. And you can see the habits that your hands just have gotten over just playing particular things that you kind of get used to, which could be some of the things that stunt the speed of a song, as it does that way.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I could see how it really wouldn't take that long of practicing that move to make that become second nature in how I change that chord every time.
Exactly. And like I said, the way to practice that, again, those 60-second drills is literally I put on my phone a stopwatch for 60 seconds. And imagine if 7 days you just did 60 seconds of G, pivot to D, G, pivot to D for, I swear, within 7 days. You're going to be like, wow, that's way different. Only by a minute like that.
Yeah.
So 60-second drills are super, super, effective, and they seem like they're easy. It's kind of like those 8-minute abs they used to sell. low impact, big results on that. So, but awesome. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then let's just take a peek at the other song real quick that we had. I'm going to open up the other one here. There was something about the intro of this one that we maybe wanted to work out with this. Did you have any, before we look at the intro, was there any chord switching things on this one that maybe was a challenge for you?
No, I mean, this one's pretty straightforward on the chords. It does that, most of the verses are just the D, E, and A, which is pretty easy. It has the turnaround.
Right.
With the G. So sometimes it's just that same thing of just getting the fingers down in time.
Right.
Or like the intro, has that G in there.
Okay, so right there, yeah, actually, and in watching that, there was that G to D thing right there. Try to do that one more time. See what you can do to fight to keep the anchor down on that. It's the same thing. It's great that it happens in the same song, in another song. Keep the ring. That's it.
And I think I'm hearing in the song that there's he does that little pull off with the.
I do recall some embellishments.
What is that? If you have the pinky down in that D chord, what does that make that chord?
Yeah, so that's something you might see in a lot of songs like Free Fallin' from Tom Petty. That pinky down deal, that's called the D suspended 4, and it sounds like super intimidating. But basically, when you think about these crazy numbers that get thrown into a chord, basically all they're doing is it's a D chord, so they're taking the 4th note of the D scale and adding it. If I counted D, E, F, G, that's the 4th note. The G is your pinky. It's just adding in the 4th note of the scale to the chord like that. So yeah, that happens in a lot of songs too, is that D sus4 that you might run into with it.
Gotcha.
But, yeah. So one cool thing about this, there you go. And then there it is. Yeah. So also going through my mixer here is I have my phone, which then I'm going to play the song, and you'll be able to hear it coming through here. We can listen to this intro because I don't recall how the timing exactly is, and we can add this little signature riff he does off the top. Let's see here. That's the dun 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 dun, right? That's the move right there.
Okay.
So let's talk about what that is. I'm going to zoom into my hands. It's a good name for this. So he does this kind of rolling triplet pull off, and it's on the D string. And so he's basically strumming the A first, but imagine doing a hammer-on to the 4. Yeah. Yep, that's it. And here's the thing with pull-offs, man, is when you do a pull-off, that's almost it. Right. Okay. And the pull-off thing, people tend to see a pull-off and they want to just lift their finger up. The pull-off is actually more of like this flicking, where you flick it towards the floor, get your skin on that note, and you'll get that nice volume. Yeah, that was good. Right, and it leads you to it like that. So the pull-off is another move that kind of he's adding in the top there. But again, the key to the pull-offs is making sure we can get the same volume that our pick note is, that the pull-off note is, and how that can happen is getting that nice flick of the finger on that. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I could see you kind of flicked it off the string as opposed to just lifting it up like that.
What's the little walk down right at the beginning of the song?
Let's see. Oh, that too. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, so that's 4 on the A string, 4 on the A string actually, and then 2 on the A string. Ba, ba. Right to the app. Ba, ba, ba. There you go. Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Nice. So these would be two amazing things
Yeah.
to be able to work on. And what we do at the end of a lesson, and before I wrap it up, I'll ask if there's any more questions on this. But what we do at the end of a lesson is I actually make a little recap video of these things to remember, so that when you practice during the week, you can be like, "Oh, that's right. That's what Brian said to work on with this." So before I make your video on that, is there any other questions you had on those couple tunes?
No, I think those are all really good. I mean, that's a lot to work on, and but it like opens up a whole new, direction and quality level of a way I think I can play that. I've got a few weeks.
Yeah, awesome.
I mean, a couple other super cool things that we have in here. We pulled up that music, but that can go into a file for me. This video you're gonna make goes into a file. We've got whiteboards that you can demonstrate these chords on and things like that, as well, to just make the learning experience just so much better than what we used to do for the last 20 years at the school.
Definitely. Awesome, man. Well, this is what it looks like when I make your video. I actually go over here and I just make a little quick recording, and it's going to then record. And I'm going to say now at this point, the two things that I want you to work on is going G and D with that pivot finger on that ring finger on the third fret of the B, back and forth for 60 seconds a day, doing huge growth with doing that. The bar chord, think about building from the bassier notes on up. This way you kind of roll into the chord as opposed to bar, this, then these. You could actually start to strum the chord as you do that. And then we talked about hammer-ons and pull-offs, that it's more of a flicking than just lift up on there to get that volume real nice. Make it nice and clear as you go to that. So those would be some great things to work on during the week to go to the next level.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Now, if you guys comment on this video, remember I'm a drummer, not a guitar player, and I'm also not really a singer either. So I don't want to.
Me neither. Me neither. If they watch my videos.
Thanks, Brian.
All right. Awesome.